The stage was set for an evening of elegance and charm, but nobody expected the showdown that was about to unfold. Meghan Markle, former actress turned Duchess of Sussex, had been announced as the headliner for the Graham Norton show, a booking that sent ripples across social media the moment it was confirmed. It was billed as her first light-hearted British talk show appearance since stepping down from royal duties. Many anticipated laughter, glamour, and perhaps a few clever jabs at her former royal life. What they got was something far more explosive. As Meghan walked onto the stage to rapturous applause, her smile lit up the studio. Dressed in an elegant emerald gown with subtle diamond earrings, she looked every bit the royal celebrity. She greeted Graham with a warm hug and settled comfortably onto the famous red couch, exuding grace. The first few minutes were exactly what the audience expected: banter about motherhood, her new ventures in Hollywood, and her humanitarian work. Meghan laughed easily, even joking about her son Archie calling her bossy like Grandma Doria. But Graham, known for his wit and ability to shift gears swiftly, was not about to let the interview stay in safe territory. "So Meghan," he said after a sip of water, "you've rebranded yourself brilliantly. But when you look back, Netflix deals, Spotify, Archwell, do you ever worry it's more about controlling the narrative than telling your truth?" The smile on Meghan's face froze for a split second. Her eyes blinked slowly, as if processing whether she'd heard him right. "I think everyone wants to own their story," she replied, her tone calm but slightly sharper. "After years of being misrepresented, I decided to speak for myself." Graham smiled politely. "Of course, but some would argue that even your version seems curated. For instance, Spotify ended things rather abruptly. And then there was that podcast with claims about being objectified, on Deal or No Deal. Critics say it was inconsistent, considering that role helped launch your fame." Meghan's body stiffened slightly, her fingers tightening around the coffee cup she held. "I never said I was ashamed of my past," she said. "I simply pointed out how women in entertainment are often reduced to looks. That doesn't mean I'm ungrateful." Graham didn't let up. "Understood. But then there's the matter of your public image. You've spoken about being silenced. Yet, since leaving the royal family, you've been on Oprah, published articles, released docuseries. Do you see why people might say you haven't exactly been silent?" The audience was dead quiet. Meghan looked directly at Graham, trying to maintain composure. "There's a difference between having a platform and being heard without distortion," she said. "Everything I say is twisted. Even now, I know how this will be spun. But Meghan," Graham continued, "don't you think part of that comes with being a global figure? The scrutiny, the skepticism, it's what every major public figure deals with. Isn't that fair?" Her voice was low now, more deliberate. Fair is a word people throw around when they want to justify double standards. The tension was thick enough to slice with a knife. Graham glanced at the audience briefly, then added, "But if you preach transparency and truth, doesn't that also open you up to fair criticism? Or is any critique automatically an attack?" "That did it." Meghan's expression faltered. Her eyes glistened, her lips pressed into a tight line. For the first time, she looked more human than polished. "This was supposed to be a conversation," she whispered, barely audible. "Not a courtroom." There was a long pause. She looked away from Graham, then directly into the camera as if trying to speak to someone beyond the room, perhaps to the public who had watched her rise, fall, and rebuild. But she didn't say another word. Backstage, Meghan sat in a quiet corner of the dressing room, her hands trembling slightly as she stared at her reflection in the mirror. Her makeup, once flawless, now betrayed the emotional toll of the confrontation: smudged eyeliner beneath glassy eyes, the kind of look no publicist could fix in a hurry. A producer approached her hesitantly, headset still on, speaking in a low tone. "We didn't expect it to get that intense," he said. Meghan didn't respond. She simply shook her head and muttered, "I should have known better." Meanwhile, in the studio, Graham Norton remained composed. With an awkward smile and a flick of his cue cards, he pivoted to the next guest, but the energy had shifted completely. The crowd, usually roaring with laughter, was unusually subdued. Everyone sensed that something deeply personal had just happened, and it was more than TV drama. Within minutes, clips of the confrontation were being uploaded, reposted, dissected, and memed across every platform imaginable. #Graham Norton and #Meghan Markle were trending globally within the hour. The headlines followed in rapid succession. Meghan Markle walks off Graham Norton show in tears. Graham pushes too far. Duchess leaves live interview shaken. Royal rumble on the red couch. Opinions were split down the middle. Some viewers praised Graham for asking questions that had long been dodged, while others accused him of blindsiding Meghan for ratings. On TikTok, thousands of users reenacted the exchange, some mocking, others empathizing. That same night, a clip of Prince Harry allegedly speaking to someone on the phone, looking agitated while boarding a black SUV in Los Angeles, went viral. Body language experts had a field day. Rumors swirled that he had confronted Graham's team behind the scenes. Other sources claimed Harry was deeply upset and wanted the footage pulled from airing again, especially the segment of Meghan silently breaking down. The BBC released an official statement the next morning. The Graham Norton show aims to engage guests in candid and thoughtful discussions. At no point was it our intention to cause distress. We are in communication with Ms. Markle's representatives regarding last night's episode. But Meghan's PR team moved swiftly too. A representative for her released a short but pointed response. The Duchess of Sussex appeared on the show in good faith to discuss her upcoming initiatives focused on women's empowerment. The unexpected shift in tone, which bordered on confrontational, left her feeling ambushed. Meghan will not be participating in future segments of this nature. Meanwhile, Graham defended himself in a surprise radio appearance. "I wasn't trying to make her cry," he said. "But I think when public figures tell their truth, they should also be ready to face hard truths. It's a conversation, not a coronation." The reaction was nuclear. Supporters of Meghan called the interview a modern media ambush, while critics hailed it as the moment the narrative cracked. Even former royal aides weighed in anonymously to tabloids, suggesting Meghan struggled with tough questions because she's not used to being challenged. The incident sparked broader conversations on talk shows and news panels. Was Graham reinforcing a double standard against powerful women? Or was he simply doing what journalists are meant to do? A week later, Meghan posted a black and white photo of herself walking barefoot on a California beach, her son's tiny hand gripping hers. The caption read, "Sometimes silence is louder than any question." Despite the storm, Meghan remained silent on the actual interview, never mentioning Graham's name, never giving a follow-up. But the world had seen something raw that night. Not a royal, not an actress, just a woman under fire, holding back tears under 1,000 lights. And whether you loved or loathed her, you couldn't look away.